Tonight, exclusive jailhouse video you have to see. A 25-year-old inmate at the Grant County Jail suffers a severe asthma attack and later dies. Did jail staffers do enough to help Kendra Shaw? Friends and family say no way.
Our Call 6 investigators fought to get documents and video showing what really happened to Kendra Shaw. Call 6 investigator Kara Kinney has been digging on this for the past 2 months and joins us now with the latest developments.
This is a story you reacted to in a big way when we covered her death back in May. We wanted to find out what really happened to Kendra Shaw, but the Grant County Sheriff's Department has refused our request to sit down and talk about it. So using the public records laws, we fought to obtain these internal documents and DVDs from the jail. What you're about to see is a timeline we pieced together of what happened to Kendra Shaw. You might find the video disturbing, but her friends and family say they want this video out there so people really know what happened inside the jail.
Natalie Gann and Sienna Messler, two of Kendra Shaw's best friends. The photos still on their cell phones show the 25-year-old smiling and full of life.
She was always happy, always smiling.
But jailhouse videos obtained by the Call 6 investigators show Kendra Shaw in a much different state. And Kendra agrees to daily breathing treatments in a room called the barber shop. This video shows her leaving for a breathing treatment at around 8:30 that night. 20 minutes later, Kendra calls her mother and says she's still having trouble breathing. Jail documents say Kendra feels the nurse does not take her seriously and treats her like an idiot. 6 hours later, 3:33 in the morning, Kendra tells jail staff she's having an asthma attack.
She couldn't breathe. You can see it in her face.
9 minutes later, 3-4 starts her treatment and then becomes unresponsive, urinates herself, foams at the mouth, and stops breathing.
They just were walking nonchalantly.
Oh, they're walking slow. They should have been in a hurry.
At about 3:54 a.m., an officer calls for an ambulance. That's 20 minutes after Kendra Shaw's initial complaint about an asthma attack.
I just can't. I really can't believe it. I really can't.
Jail policy says when an inmate's having an emergency medical situation, such as serious breathing difficulties, officers should administer first aid immediately, and a command officer should call for an ambulance. It's unclear what the jail considers serious breathing difficulties.
It's their job to take care of all their inmates.
The video shows jail staff bring in medical equipment and a defibrillator and rush down the hallway and in the elevator. 4:08 a.m. 35 minutes after her complaint, Kendra Shaw leaves the jail in an ambulance. She was taken to Marion General Hospital and then airlifted to Fort Wayne. May 8th, Kendra Shaw is taken off life support and pronounced dead at the age of 25.
I don't have her. I don't know. I don't know who to call anymore. I just want to know what really happened, what happened in that room. Why aren't they showing?
We've emailed, called, and stopped by the jail repeatedly to try to talk to the sheriff about Kendra Shaw and their policies.
If you could just maybe leave the sheriff a message that I stopped by.
We also tried the
nothing wrong and that the situation was handled correctly. I'm Call 6 investigator Kara Kinney.
And we have more details now on that story. Our Call 6 investigators shared the jailhouse video with several corrections experts.
Yeah, one of those experts, Al Bennett, has been in corrections for more than 50 years, including work as an officer in a maximum security prison. Bennett says while he can sympathize with Kendra Shaw's family and friends, he feels jail staff tried to help Kendra. He points to jail staff taking Kendra to the nurse, calling the doctor, providing breathing treatments, and calling the ambulance as signs they were doing their jobs.
Somebody could find fault with the fact that they weren't rushed around, but they were all concerned about her, I think.
Bennett says he's impressed the jail has 2011. Tight budgets are of very little concern when you call 911 for police or fire service. Really, all you want is a response.
Cities and towns are looking for ways to get around their financial crunch. Tonight, our Call 6 investigators dig into the cost of their creativity. Raphael?
Erica and Todd, good evening. $5 will get these people to fight accused lawbreakers and troublemakers.
We're ready to go. 225.
Where does she stay at, do you know?
3021 East 47th Street, apartment B.
It's those windows right there.
Yeah, right out front.
Tom, come on in. Hi, ma'am. Do you know who we're looking for? They just think I don't have to go to court. They're not going to come get me. We got his picture.
Okay, guys, gather up for a minute.
Vigilance at all hours of the day.
7 days a week we got reserves out here to supplement. Never ending.
Their victories are usually dependent.
So she knows we're looking for her, right?
On who they find behind closed doors, hiding from the law.
We will force entry if we have to. Open the door.
Often their window of opportunity is immediate.
If you can get through that window,
requiring swift action.
I want that back door open so we can flood this place.
After several minutes, Marion County Sheriff's deputies did not find their target.
Any given time, 25,000 warrants in Marion County.
The men and women on the job are trained officers, given a vehicle, gun, and the power to arrest. Their uniform further shows they're the real deal.
21, it's that one, white one.
Who just happen to be volunteers.
Herein lies the reserve unit of the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Annual paycheck for Sheriff's Reserves, $5.
With crime being like it is, it's certainly worse than what it was 20 years ago. I think every police agency can enjoy the additional support that the reserves give, and there's a place for all of us in this community.
Sergeant Terry Wilds is on his 37th year as a reserve. He's a mechanical contractor. Alex Hernandez, 3 years on the force, is a teacher. Jonathan Kempler is a Pike Township fire investigator. John Barrow and Susan Perkins are school police officers.
Sheriff's Department, open the door. We're not leaving. We have a warrant.
The Call 6 investigators found that police agencies are leaning more on the reserves as budgets get tighter. The Marion County Sheriff's Office went from 19 reserves in 2009 to 56 in 2013. Last year, they worked nearly 24,000 hours, which equals about $780,000 not charged to taxpayers. Hamilton County saw as much as $471,000 in savings. The effort of 36 reserves, up from 20 in 2009. Johnson County's 25 officers volunteered $100,000 in free labor. They've added 5 reserves in the past 5 years.
I probably worked a few extra hours than what I should have stayed at home sometimes, but that's what we do.
Regardless of the season or time of day, the reserves are filling necessary roles. No one can afford to pay or lose.
These people are just as capable to be out there, so it isn't for everybody.
Metro Police has 88 reserves and looking for many more. In fact, tomorrow night, 17 will work the east side, while regular officers are focused on specific issues in several neighborhoods. Metro's reserves have saved the city in excess of $700,000. Their volunteer numbers are down, but they're looking to increase those ranks.
So, Raphael, what are the hidden costs here?
Well, Eric and Todd, as you can imagine, in any big business, salary is always the biggest chunk of that budget. The volunteers' time is free, but the department still have to pay for vehicles, gasoline, and maintenance. Metro's reserves get nothing, $0, but they don't have to pay the fuel fee that the full-time officers are expected to pay.
Very interesting.
So there is a balance.
A lot I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
A lot of volunteers, and they do it for the passion of just serving the public. I didn't know that either. I was also surprised by the amount of pay. Some get $5, some get $0.
Wow.
Thank you for bringing it all to light.
That's right.
Neighborhoods across the country rocked by explosions like the one you just saw. Tonight, Call 6 investigators are digging into a product this Kokomo woman says severed her hand. We're talking about exploding targets readily available on store shelves for you to buy. The FBI says they are so dangerous, terrorists could turn the product into a bomb. Call 6 investigator Kara Kinney explains in tonight's Explosion Alert.
This is an exploding target. You can buy it in just about any sporting goods store. It's used by rifle shooters to make sure they've hit their mark from long range. That's the proper way to use it, but we found it's often being misused in neighborhoods.
Jennifer Plank-Greer of Kokomo was at a friend's house in Ohio.
And I thought, well, I'll just tape this.
She whipped out her cell phone, eager to capture someone firing a new rifle. A piece of shrapnel from the explosion took off Jennifer's hand. According to a new court complaint filed by Jennifer, the detonation was triggered by an exploding target placed inside a refrigerator.
I had no clue that there was anything like that being used.
Jennifer's attorney says the products are abused. People use way too much or put it inside things that can explode and create shrapnel.
It's a dangerous product, and frankly, the foreseeable risks of this product far outweigh any benefit you could ever get from it.
Exploding targets are sold under several names. The most common brand is Tannerite. We found exploding targets for sale on area store shelves. Indiana has no restrictions, but stores have their own policies. Dick's Sporting Goods asked for my birth date.
You have to be 21 to buy it, 18.
Gander Mountain did not ask for a birthday or ID.
Customers always show me videos of it. Oh, really?
A company spokesperson told us, quote, Gander Mountain strictly adheres to all local, state, and federal law governing all of the products sold at stores and online. And their worker is right. A lot of people shoot videos using exploding targets. On YouTube, it's easy to find videos of young people using the product to blow stuff up like appliances and cars. IMPD's bomb squad is about to show us firsthand how dangerous the chemicals can be when mixed together.
If you use it outside of its normal intent, that is now an improvised explosive device. That's illegal.
Using a controlled detonation, they blew up a mailbox, a watermelon, and just the container.
There are kids using it. They're taking it out, in the country, on a farm, shooting it inside Marion County, outside Marion County. Nobody's tracking that until somebody gets hurt.
The federal government is also concerned about people misusing exploding targets. The FBI distributed this bulletin warning that exploding targets could be used by criminals and terrorists to make IEDs. The U.S. Forest Service banned the targets on its property in 5 western states, claiming they ignited wildfires costing them more than $33 million to fight. And the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is also warning people.
People, they don't realize the risk. If you improperly use these explosive materials and you put them in a container for other than they're intended for, there can be tragic consequences.
Leading manufacturer Tannerite is launching a letter-writing campaign to people with YouTube videos abusing the product.
If it's used properly and for what it's intended, it is a safe product. We have a plea for common sense. We strongly encourage that people do not misuse the product.
Jennifer thought she was at safe range.
I was approximately 150 yards uprange.
She reached a settlement with the shooter and is suing the manufacturer H2 Targets, the store who sold it, and the property owner.
My medical expenses are $250,000 plus, and I'm not done.
Jennifer's hand has little function left, and she wants people to heed safety warnings.
I don't want to see somebody else go through what I've gone through.
The manufacturer involved in Jennifer's accident, H2 Targets, declined to comment. The property owner and the Ohio store also declined to comment on the lawsuit as well.
Carrie, you mentioned that shooters use it so that they know they've hit their target. But what else do they need to know to make sure they use it the correct way?
Well, it's really common sense. You have to follow the manufacturer's guidelines and keep a safe distance. And also know that once you mix these two chemicals together, it's considered an explosive and you need a federal permit to transport it.
Very eye-opening report.
Absolutely.
Thank you.